Thank you for tuning in to Faith, Family, and Finances.
On today's show, we're gonna recap our last episode, but today we're gonna talk about living off less than you earn, and that's gonna be the key to paying off debt. So, in last week's episode, we talked about budgeting and how important budgeting was. It's like your roadmap to where you want to go. Stick to that budget. You want to do a zero-based budget. You want to make sure everything is all your expenses and your income, it balances out to zero. And we know that when you start your budgeting process, it's different for everybody. It may take a couple of months for you to get used to it. You may even need to use a an application to track your expenses to help you to do that. There are several ways you can do that. There are applications you can use. If you're old school, you can even use a spreadsheet to track your expenses.
Right.
Whatever works best for you, you do that.
Right. And once you've gotten the budgeting process down, you can easily identify areas and ways that you can cut back on spending. Okay. Once you've gotten the budgeting process down pat, you can easily identify the areas of spending that you can cut, right? And usually these areas are considered variable expenses, which such as dinner, like dining out rather, not dinner, but dining out, entertainment, hobbies, shopping, streaming services, and children's activities. Cause kids can get involved in a lot of things, right? And they really only need maybe one or two at the most.
And so, especially for guys, guys, sometimes I know we have our things that we like to do, our different hobbies. Some
Tech
guys are
toys.
tech toys, some guys are car guys, some guys, they like their music. So there are a lot of different things. So guys, you got to be able you got to be able to cut back if you're really serious about cutting down on your expenses. It's gonna take some time, but guys, you can do it. And also remember, guys, we want you to like, subscribe.
And share this with someone you know.
Yes.
So back to cutting spending. For us ladies, that might look like less trips to the mall, or these days online shopping is a big deal. Like if you're like me, I love Poshmark and even the resale places. You can kind of do girl math and think you're saving money when you're actually spending more money because you're spending money on things you really don't need. So you want to ask yourself, is this a need or is this something I want? Right? And if it's a want, you can hold off on that thing. So the idea is to cut excess spending as much and as deeply as you can. Now, we want to bring out that one area that we did not cut spending in is giving tithe and offering. Well, our tithe, we've always given a tenth of our gross income to the church, to our local church, right? Now, our offering, we cut that a bit while we were paying off debt, but we still gave an offering, right? But as Christians that believe in tithing, we believe that God wants us to give at least 10% of our income. Now, you may not do that, but that's what we did. And God really blessed the other 90%.
And I believe, like you said, if you're a follower of Christ and you want to honor God, you want to honor God in your giving,
Right.
specifically in your tithing. And once you do that, you won't miss it. It'll be part of your budget. And God will bless you. God will honor you in that. Like she said, we've done that and we've never missed a beat one way or the other. God has always provided for us. And I just believe that He has, because we honor Him in our giving. And we put Him first in that, because we know that everything that we have comes from Him. And so we're just giving back what He's already given us. That's the way that we look at it.
Right. We've enlisted first on our budget, on our spreadsheet. It's like we have our income and then we have tithe. And so we automatically know to take that out off tops. And it's really been a blessing to us. And so we wanted to let you know that, because if you still have a heart to give, you can still give while paying off debt.
Right, right. Don't let that be don't let that stop you from paying off debt.
Right.
Paying your tithe, paying off debt.
Right. So we talked about variable expenses. Those are the things that fluctuate each month. But now we want to talk a little bit about how you could possibly lower your fixed expenses. And I think my husband is better at talking about these things because he really knows how to cut deep, guys.
That I can
I mean, he's like a plastic surgeon. He can cut off all the fat, right?
yeah.
And I'm like, where's my
You can get a PhD in cutting expenses. I think I'd have one. But
yes? You would. So,
so it may be lower for you to possible for you to lower your fixed expenses by comparison shopping for different services. We all have cell phones. You look at your internet service. You have so many streaming services, and there are so many different apps now that you can put on your phone that will tell you about your streaming services. Because sometimes we can sign up for so many different streaming services, you forget that you signed up for one and you're not even using it, but you're still paying for it.
right.
So get you an app to check all your streaming services so you can cancel those that you're not using. And cancel those even if you're not using, cancel those that you just don't need until you pay off your debt. You can also do cable service. Check for cable services because now you have streaming. You can stream cable services through the internet. Now you have so many providers who do that.
Right.
Um, you can also shop for lower insurance rates.
That's big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because lately, I don't know if you've noticed, but insurance rates are going higher and higher. Seems like specifically when you
Homeowners insurance.
homeowners
Oh
insurance
my
when
goodness.
it comes to this new wind deductibles. Like seems like insurance companies are splitting that out, and now you have a crazy deductible now for wind and hail. So that's something that you probably want to shop. Car insurance, home insurance every 6 to 12 months if you can,
Yeah.
because it's changing so often. You can get new quotes and new rates, better rates every 6 to 12 months, and it can save you a good amount of money if you do that. Couple $100 to $200. That's big savings every month.
So, babe, do you recommend them shopping with an insurance broker?
Yes, I recommend you shop with a broker because a broker, they don't have any ties to anyone, and so they're not biased. So they'll just go out and they'll try to get you the best rates from whoever they can find, and they'll get you the rates you want and the coverage you want. And like I say, they're not tied to any insurance company. So I believe a broker would be best to help you to get the best rates you can.
Yeah. So I want to reiterate a question you want to ask yourself when you're trying to identify what to cut and what to keep. Ask yourself this: do I need this thing or do I want this thing? Because in America, we really think that amenities are necessities, right? Because we are so blessed with so many things, but a lot of our amenities they're not necessities, guys. You do not have to have a lot of streaming services, right? You don't have to have Netflix. I know you may want it, like you maybe used to binge watching Netflix, but you don't have to have Netflix. You do not have to have all of the extra things with your cell phone and things like that. Any way you can cut. And this is only for a short period of time. So you're kind of like, I don't want to mention Dave too much, but he says, live like no one else now. So later on, you can live and give like no one else. So you're going to be cutting back and you're going to feel those cuts.
Right. You want to feel those cuts. If you don't feel the cuts, then I don't think you've cut enough.
Right.
Right. Those cuts should be deep enough to where you feel like, man, this is hard. I don't know if I can keep doing this. So
Right.
you want to cut deep enough so you can feel it, because that feeling, that's what's going to motivate you in the future to not go back into debt.
Right. It is it's a necessary part of the journey. If you skip over the deep cuts, feeling those cuts, the probability of you going back into debt after you pay it off is very high. You want to remember what it felt like to have to go through this. I'm telling you guys, like that really helps me to stay on track because naturally I am a spender. I'm more of a spender and Tim is more of a saver. So like he really doesn't have a problem with saving up for something over the long term. You know what I mean? To avoid debt. But me, that's another story. So I have to think back to the pain, to how it felt. I hated it.
Felt like you were broke.
I felt like I was so broke that I was just making money. We were making money, good money, just to pay somebody else. Like nobody likes feeling like that. So I always go back to that in my mind and I go, is it worth me going back into debt? I don't think so. Right now, we've asked ourselves that about a particular project in our home that we want to get done. And I have to say want because sometimes I want to say I need this.
Not a need.
It's not a
Not a
need.
need. It's a want, but it's okay to have want.
And it's a really bad want.
Right.
I really want it bad, but it's not a need. And so have to think back. How did I feel when I was just at the bottom of the barrels, raping and scraping to pay off my student loans, or we were cutting so deeply to pay off our home. And then I go like, well, maybe I can wait another year for this thing. Maybe we can see it out. So don't avoid the pain. The pain is necessary. Nothing changes without stress on it, right? Your muscles don't get stronger without stress being put on them. So it's a necessary part of your financial journey so that you can change your financial behavior long term.
Yes, just remember the old saying, no pain, no gain.
No gain.
All right.
Okay, once you've eliminated all unnecessary expenses, you can use those savings for your emergency fund. So we don't want you to go straight into paying off debt. The first thing you want to do is save up for your emergency fund.
Right. So your emergency fund, but while you're paying off debt, you're gonna use that just in case things come up because we know it's not if, but it's when emergencies come up. They're gonna be things that come up, whether it's a medical bill or this new tires, whatever it may be. You want to have that money in your emergency fund so you can cover those expenses while you're paying off debt. And we say while you're paying off debt, you should try to keep at least $1,000 in your emergency fund. Now, if you want to have a little bit more, if you feel like, some people, they may feel like that's not enough. So if you want to bump that up to add another 500 to 1,000, that's fine. It's different for everybody. It's not a hard to pass rule, but you just want to make sure you have enough money to cover those emergencies that can come up. Because like I say, it's not if, it's when they will.
It's like self-insuring,
Right.
like if you have some money stashed away for a rainy day, and a rainy day is not a new outfit, okay? A rainy day is actually an emergency that has come up, right? You don't have to go to the credit card because, again, in America, people use their credit cards as emergency funds. And your credit card should not be an emergency fund. You really need to have some cash stashed away so that you can deal with those emergencies. And what kind of account, Tim, should they put?
And the best way to put that money in a place where it's not so easily accessible as your checking or your regular savings account is to probably find a money market account that's separate from those two. So it's not easily accessible.
But you can get it
But you
if
can
you
get
need
to
it.
it if you
Yeah.
need it, and you're not putting it in any type of stock or mutual fund where you'll lose your principal. So you want to make sure you do that. You're not losing any money, and it's not easily accessible. Those are the keys and you may make a little interest too while it's in there. So that's that's the type of account you want to use for your emergency fund, a good money market account.
And the idea here is that you're just putting some money away for a small period of time. Like you're not fully funding your emergency fund until after you're out of debt.
Right.
So this is just to have a few $1,000, maybe a couple $1,000 stashed away somewhere while you're paying off debt. But after you pay that debt off, you definitely want to have 3 to 6 months of expenses packed away in an emergency fund, or should I say tucked away in an emergency fund. And so When we talk about 3 to 6 months, that may sound overwhelming to you, but we're not saying 3 to 6 months of what you spend, like the whole amount you spend in a month. We're talking 3 to 6 months of necessities, like paying your mortgage, your light bill, your food expenses, grocery. We're not talking about eating out. We're talking about what you would need if you lost a job or someone got sick and could no longer bring in income.
Right. It's just your basics for living, like she said. That would include gas, gas for your car to get you
Right,
back and forth to work. Nothing, no excesses. Just this is just for your basic
right,
living needs.
right. And just a disclaimer, Tim and I, when we were paying off debt, we did not empty our emergency fund down to, or we didn't bring it down to $1,000. We did not feel comfortable going that low in our emergency fund. So we kept I think a generous amount for paying off debt,
Hmm.
for us being in that stage of paying off debt. We kept a generous amount because like Tim, he doesn't feel comfortable. He did not feel comfortable as a man letting go of all of that money, but we knew that we were dedicated to getting the debt paid off,
Right.
right? And sometimes the train of thought here is if you put 1,000 away, then you're going to work harder to get that debt paid off because $1,000 is not a lot of money and that you're going to have emergencies to come up and you want to buck that number up as soon as possible. Um, that was our journey. You can do what you want there, but you do need to have some money set aside for emergencies.
Right. And that emergency fund, that's once you do come out of debt, like I said, that's very crucial. Just to have that,
To
like
stand out of
just
that.
staying out of debt. And like you say, it's a way of kind of self insuring yourself. So when things happen, when emergencies come up, you don't have to go and take out a loan. You don't have to go and borrow money from, you know, family or friends.
Mhm.
That's your way of self insuring and making sure you stay on task, stay on track, staying out of debt. It's just one of those things. You just make it part of your new mindset for managing money.
Right. Right. It's like being proactive instead of being reactive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. After you built your emergency fund, then start paying off your debt. You take all of the money that you saved by cutting those expenses and you begin to attack your debt with a vengeance, right? You want to start from your smallest debt and work your way up to your largest debt. Now, some people use the avalanche method of paying off debt. Tim, do you want to explain that one?
Right. So the avalanche method is the method of paying off your highest interest debt first. That way you can maximize your financial savings. But there's also the debt snowball, which you take and you pay off your smallest debt first, smallest to biggest debts first. And that way you kind of get a psychological boost by seeing your progress as you pay off a debt. Now, which method you choose really depends on it depends on the individual, depends on what you feel like will keep you motivated, that will keep you focused. For us, we did the debt snowball.
Yeah, that's what we recommend because, like, you can get a win really quick with the debt snowball. And I like little bitty wins. You know, I like that. So
Right.
do you,
I
right?
did too, yeah.
And so I just think you stay motivated doing the debt snowball, more motivated than when you do the avalanche method, right? But like mathematically speaking, the avalanche may make more sense. But since most people spend emotionally anyway, the snowball is probably going to be more effective for most people. Now, if you're a little nerdy, you may want to go with that avalanche. But the idea here is just get it paid off.
Right. That's the bottom line, getting it paid off. What method you use, not that important, but getting it paid down, that's the main thing. And like you say, if you're a type of math guy, then like she said, the avalanche maybe just what you need. But most people, I say the majority of people, the debt snowball is gonna be what you can use to help you stay focused, stay on task, paying down debt. Because like us, for us, when we started to see debts going down, we started to see our car notes paying off car notes, start paying off student loans, things like that. And we start to see that. I mean, you get momentum. You get courage. It's kind of like it builds faith in you that you can pay off debt. Sometimes if you've never done something and then you don't know anybody who's ever done it, you just don't have the faith to believe that you can do it. But once you start doing it, paying off debt, it builds up that faith and that confidence that you can do it. And that just helps you to move on to the bigger debts. And eventually, you want to get to that mortgage.
Right. And you will feel confident to go forward with paying off your mortgage and just owe no man nothing but to love them, right? Which is what the Bible says. Also, remember to celebrate the small victories. Every time you pay off a debt, do something to celebrate. Don't go crazy.
Don't go into debt.
Don't go into debt.
Don't celebrate into debt.
No.
Don't do that.
But treat yourself. Like go and take the kids out for snow cones if it's in the summertime or I don't know, go on a little fishing trip or something, like just nearby.
Yeah. Take the kids out
for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the movies, go bowling, go skating, something, not expensive, but just to celebrate that win, because that's another thing. When you're going through this and you have children, your children are going through with it, going with you through this journey, and they'll feel it too.
Yes, because we had to say no to our kids.
Yes.
Like our kids would want to do some things, and we were very honest with them about what we were doing. We were like, it's not in our budget. It's not in our budget. And the children started mastering that phrase. It's not in our budget. And I think that's really good for kids because they need to know, number one, that money comes from hard work and that God expects us to steward our money well. And they need to understand that it's important to have restraint when you, in terms of managing money. Like you just can't get whatever you want whenever you want. You actually have to see if you can afford that thing. And so, yeah, our children were going through it with us and they learned a lot, and we're still trying to teach them about the importance of budgeting and things like that. But when we celebrated paying off my student loan debt and then also the house, like the children were right there. And it was so special because they were doing the debt freedom scream with us. They understood. Now, when we paid off the student loan debt, they didn't quite understand it as much because they were much younger. Right. But when we paid off the house, they fully understood that this was a big thing. Invite your children along on that journey. Like, let them know mommy and daddy are trying to get out of debt so that we can do more things as a family, so that we can even tell them that we want to manage money the way God wants us to manage money.
Right. And what you're really doing is you're laying a foundation for them on how to manage money, because when you do that, teach them from that early age, you're laying a foundation, you're setting a precedent, and you're giving them that. I think it's an advantage that you're giving them, because that's something that a lot of children don't get today.
Right.
Like you say, in our society of I want what I want and I want it now.
Right.
A lot of children aren't getting that. And you're setting them up for success as long as with the help of God, they'll be successful, and they'll have a head start in life when it comes to managing money.
Right. And we're going to be applying these principles even to where our kids attend college. And we have one that she's in the 11th grade and she's looking at colleges, and we're looking at pricing on colleges and things like that. Hopefully she'll get a scholarship. She'll get a full ride because she's a very smart girl. She has very good grades and test scores. But even in that, we want to teach her how to be wise in her choice for education. And we're going to do a separate podcast to talk all about that and how we're going about college, paying for college and teaching our kids, because this is a subject matter, I think, that a lot of parents need to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So we hope you got a lot of information that you can use on your financial journey. Also, since we have just a little time, I want to talk about like some areas of frugality with you.
Frugality with me?
Yes. Yes, let me tell you, guys, I was really attracted to his frugality, actually.
All
Like
right.
when we first got married, Tim would go to the grocery store. Now, let me tell you, back then they had like double up your coupon day, right?
Yes.
You could double up your coupons. Tim had a whole system, y'all. I'm seriously. What was the show? Extreme couponing?
Yeah, I was the coupon king.
He was the coupon king. Like he had the folder, he had everything arranged and organized. I like all of it. And so he would go to the grocery store. Was it Tuesdays? Was it Tuesdays that Schnucks had their double up? It was Sunday.
Someday, I can't remember.
But he would go and he would purchase juice for the house. And he would get all these bottles of juice, and he'd come in and it'd be like 10, 11 of them. Like it's a whole lot. And I'd say, babe, how much did we pay for that? I thought he was going to say like, we got a discount because I had a coupon. No, he would be like, we didn't spend anything. They gave me a quarter back. I got 25 cents back. And I'm like, what? How did you do that? So some kind of way he figured out how to use his coupons and even get money back. Isn't that amazing? Now, some of you may think that's extra frugal. I actually think it's cute. I thought it was cute until he cut my shopping budget. I didn't think that was my clothing shopping. It wasn't cute then. But I just wanted to drop in that quick story about how frugal Tim can be, but he's also generous too. Like when it comes to giving and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he cut.
I like saving.
Yes, he enjoys it. He loves looking at his account grow. It's like, wow.
But
yeah,
that's a good thing. Like you said, we also we want to be balanced, and so we want to give too. We don't want to try to hoard. So we want to make sure we
don't want to be misers.
No, we don't want to be misers. So I think we've given a lot of good information today. We want to remind you to again like, subscribe, leave comments. Let us know how you're doing with your budget. Let us know how you're doing with your cuts. Let us know if there are any questions you may have concerning
budgeting process,
your emergency fund. Any questions you have, put it down in the comments below and we will respond. Just let us know whatever's on your mind, and we'll try to respond and try to get you the information that you need to help you along on this journey to paying off debt.
And so we want to continue the conversation, guys. We do read comments and we do respond. And so we appreciate you listening to us today. And until our next podcast,
what God has joined together, let no man tear apart.
God bless you.